What is AI really? How does it work?
In a nutshell, if you want to just say what is AI, think about intelligence. The word one is intelligence.
How differ the data and information both are?
Core of AI is data. If you don't have data, of course machine can learn, but with a lot of data, they will learn better. So we need to define what is data, what is information.
Half of them, 50, 60%,
It's more than that.
90%?
More than that.
Oh my god. It's more than nearly 100%?
Nearly 99%.
Hi, Mag. It's really pleasure to have you in my show and welcome to Beat Brains. I'm looking forward from many days to have conversation with you, and it at last it happens today. Welcome to Beat Brains. I hope you are doing good. How are you?
Oh, thank you very much for having me. It is absolute pleasure to be on your show. And of course, I love to discuss with you about AI, the innovations which are happening. And this is the era of AI. Everyone is talking about AI. So let's discuss and have some
So,
meaningful discussion.
what is AI really? How does it work?
Yeah. So I would start with couple of years back, not a couple of years, I think this is decades back. So we asked this question to 14 different scientists. And this is all well documented, so you can read it back, a couple of decades back. And they asked, what is AI? And everyone, they gave the different answer. 14 different scientists, 14 different answers. So that shows this is not very simple to define AI. But in a nutshell, if you want to just say what is AI, think about intelligence. The word one is intelligence. And naturally, if we say what is intelligence, you would be thinking sharpness, clever, brain, clever, IQ, logic, mathematics might be. People say music as well because intelligence is a very multidisciplinary thing. So the same is being applied to AI, that this is very multidisciplinary field, but the notion intelligence is there. So how we can define AI? We can say this is a branch of science, of course, where we are learning about intelligent machines, or we are building intelligent machines. And machines is very important. So when I say machines, that include software, that include hardware, that have the hybrid of both software and hardware. So yeah, building intelligent machines can be considered as AI.
Yeah, and a lot many people are confused about difference between the data and information. What is really data? How differ the data and information both are?
Yeah, I mean this is a very good question because the core of AI is data. If you don't have data, of course machine can learn, but with a lot of data they will learn better. So we need to define what is data, what is information. So think about banking data. In banks, they have tons of customers. So when we say data, that means collection of some raw facts, raw records. Okay. So the collection of data you have in the bank is a data, a collection of records. It's not information. But once you get some data with some context or meaning, it becomes information. For example, in this case, if I say, give me the customers which live in IG11 postcode, they will give me that customers. So this becomes information. Now it has some context. That. So yeah, this is the difference. They are not the same. So this is very important. Nowadays, with digital era, data is increasing day by day. It's exponential. And the amount of information is decreasing day by day as well. So you have more data, but where this lies, the information it holds, it's going down. So yeah, they are not the same.
And what is data mining and how does it help uncover hidden patterns in data?
Data mining, I would be saying people might disagree. I would say data mining is more like a passive thing. The whole idea of data mining is you have a lot of data. You want to get some insights from the data. You want to get some hidden patterns from the data. And this is highly related with business analytics or data analytics, if you know those terms, that you have been given some data, for example, banking data. We want to see, hey, tell me the customers which are doing fraud with this bank. Or they take the loan, but they run away. So what are the kind of persons? Are they single? Are they married? They have some other characteristics from where we can somehow recognize them. So this is called data mining, or usually say pattern mining and so on. So this is more passive, displays with the data only.
Why these exploratory data analysis important before applying AI models?
It's a very good question. I mean, usually the perception of people is you have a data, let's apply AI. But this is not how things work. In real life, you have the data, you have to do a lot of things to go to AI. And one of them is exploratory data analysis. I usually say to my students, this should be the first thing, first step while you're doing the data analysis. Why this is the first step? Because it will give you some insights about the characteristics of the data. Assume you want to make a model about house prices in London, how they are doing. You have a lot of data, tons of data. And what you would be doing, you are not going to apply machine learning very quickly or AI. You would be saying, okay, let's plot this data. Let's plot this in a bar graph. And you might see some trend that every year there's an increase in the price. So you can see a pattern. It's going up.
Yeah.
Okay? So this is very important. If you can get from your data, what is the trend, generic trend, like this is positive, this is negative, this is stable, you can choose the machine learning model or simplest statistical model to have the same problems. You don't need to go to complicated models. So exploratory data analysis give you the hint what is coming. Okay, so I would say 50% of the problem can be solved if you have a simple data and you explore it using the charting and exploratory data analysis.
Most people want like so much of data to create something. Why do you feel you want only simple data instead of wanting the so much of data?
No, if you have so much data, of course you can do the exploratory data analysis. But I'm saying for simple problems, 50% of the time, it would be so simple that by looking at the data chart, you can say, okay, the price is going up. So most likely in 2030, the price will be going up because historically it's the case. But for more complex problems, you might not see this trend. If you have a lot of data, it might not be the case that your data is going up. It might be going up and down, then exponentially up, might be stable. So it's not easy to solve just by looking at the data. Okay, what would be the price of this house? You can't do that.
Mm-hmm.
Then you have to go to AI. Okay, here I have the curve, which is so difficult to predict. Can you do something for me? And they will help you there.
What is attention in AI models and why is it so important?
I think attention word is getting a lot of attention.
Yeah.
So I would say.
Attention is
So
yeah.
there was a paper recently. It's a well-known paper, and they said attention is the only thing that matters. Attention.
Mhm.
So let me give some example, and then I will give you some detailed explanation why this word is important. So in real life, assume you are sitting in a lecture. So I again give a lecture example. Right? In some workshop, you would be listening to the lecturer or your teacher, for example, but you might not be paying some attention because this is natural. You pay attention to the things which are related to you. I know in my class when I say some boring topic, they don't listen, they don't put attention. When I say this job can give you 50,000, everyone is looking into that direction. Or if I say we have free internships, everyone is looking into that direction. Attention.
That's true.
Attention.
Yeah.
So the same analogy can be applied to some other data. So the machine uses this word, attention with some context. So I am directly now going to ChatGPT because it's very famous. How they work, because we know, okay, look, they are quite good, but how they work, each word they learn from, pay attention to their neighbors. So for example, if I am a word, I would be paying attention to my words on my right and my left. That's it. And there is a window period. It might be 5 words, 10 words, 20 words, we don't know. And the more is the window the better would be the model. So what happens next? If I know what is my next word, now if I want to generate some new data, it's very easy because you can generate by word by word. If I generate this word, I can give the probability of the next word, it would be generated, so the whole sequence would be generated in this way. So this is how ChatGPT and these large language model works, that they simply learn the word's probability, what is coming next. And that's why it's very difficult to detect plagiarism when the text is AI generated, because they are not going somewhere, copying them, pasting. They are just generating the probability every time. And it's very difficult to detect the plagiarism in this way. So yeah, attention is a phenomenon which is transforming large language models, and they are becoming very powerful.
So why this ChatGPT is updating day by day?
I mean, every software they have some evolutions. Like if there is a software, of course they will enhance it with more functionalities. Like in ChatGPT 3 and 4, the major difference, according to me, I might be wrong because I am not representing ChatGPT by any ways, but according to me, the ChatGPT 4 is more context oriented. They can easily understand your prompt. ChatGPT 3 was taking a lot of time to understand what I'm saying, for example, or you are saying. But ChatGPT 4 can understand your prompt very easily, and they are more context friendly, so they can understand your context.
So
they are not.
it's going to be like detect your behavior or like how you're typing and what prompts you are doing.
Yeah, they can, but what I'm saying, they can understand your problem and they will give you the answer according to that theme, because ChatGPT is trained over billions of tokens around the world. If you ask something, they will put something generic and give you the answer. But I need answer from my particular data, for example, or theme. ChatGPT 4 is good in the context, so they can narrow it down according to your context, add something, give you the answer. Another difference is about the window size I told you. The more is the window, the powerful is the algorithm. So of course, it would be very expensive to train those models, the sequence models. But if you increase the context window, the model will become more powerful. And definitely this would be the case between 3 and 4. That 4 is more powerful. They know more windows. And so
why do you think it's hard to train the models?
It's very hard to train any machine learning model if the data become very big. One thing is, as I said, ChatGPT is trained over, I'm talking about text now. Assume we are just talking about text, nothing else. So ChatGPT is trained over billions of tokens. When I say tokens, the words around the web. And they simply trained the model, which we will discuss in a minute what model they are used. And they somehow learn from these billions of tokens. What is the probability of the next word, for example? Okay. For example, if I'm saying cat sat on a mat, they just want to see, okay, after cat, what is the next word? Is it mat? So predicting these things is not easy if you have billions of tokens. That's why I was reading the other day that in the recent ChatGPT, they have more neurons, or they were approaching the number of neurons as human mind have. You know, human mind have like 86 billion neurons. At ChatGPT, they were having more. So what I'm trying to say, they are trying to have more wisdom in terms of more complexity. So it's not easy to train.
What's one more interesting thing that you type in ChatGPT these days?
More interesting thing. So I usually try various prompts, and once I did some prompt where I said, okay, I want to go to Olympus, when they play the tennis. What is this called? Where you can play the tennis in England.
You mean the court?
Court.
You mean the tennis court?
Tennis court, yeah. Wimbledon. Is it a Wimbledon?
Yeah, Wimbledon. Yeah, Wimbledon.
Yes. So I was checking the tickets. They were very expensive, but I thought, okay, let's go there. So the tickets are so expensive. So I simply took a picture of Wimbledon and put to ChatGPT. I put my picture and said, okay, blend it and show I'm in Wimbledon. They put a very good picture of me. So That's the recent QE I made just to make sure we can blend two environments. So it's quite handy that you have one environment which is.
Did it really?
Yeah, it really did very well and people liked it. So I mean, they are very creative. You don't need to just fix to the text. You can fix to images and videos and so on.
What is the difference between in AI, like difference between deep learning and machine learning?
Yeah,
have
so
neural networks, right?
yeah, neural networks.
So what is the difference between all of these?
Yeah, I mean, if you look into the family of AI, as I said, AI means building some intelligent machines, and you just don't build those machines, they evolve over time. Okay, they can adopt with more data. They can learn. So this is the whole idea. They keep learning from experience, from data, from feedback. Now they have two major branches. One is machine learning, second is deep learning. So they are nothing. So machine learning, think about this as a son or a daughter. I would say son because I have the daughter for deep learning.
Yeah.
So the son of AI is machine learning. Okay? And the whole idea of machine learning is, I will be going back towards data mining now. I said in data mining, the whole idea of data mining is you mine some patterns from the data. Okay? So the machine learning is doing the same thing, but they are more future oriented. They are not sitting here. They can predict what would happen in future. Data mining, the whole thing was just sit here in the present, give me a nice data structure, data insights on the data, and that's it. For machine learning, they go one step ahead. They say, okay, I figured out these are the customer which do fraud with you, and they are the customer which are more likely to do fraud in the future. So they can predict the future. They can, and based on that, you can automate the decisions. So think about automation and the prediction. So these are the two major things. The whole idea is to predict something.
Why they want to start up this automation companies? What benefits they get really?
I mean, this all depends about the supply and demand. So if you, not technically, go back to the business world, everything is working on supply and demand. So you can see the demand of automation, the machine learning is growing in every field. People want to automate everything because they don't want to have the same old-fashioned thing. A developer, they want to automate their software development.
Yeah.
A law firm, they want to automate their decisions based on finding the data. They don't want to scan the files themselves. They want some intelligent machines which are scanning their documents and giving them some decisions. What I'm saying, everything is looking for automation. And this would be coming in future. So the demand would be exponential, I would say. Yeah, exponential. So this, we haven't just started. I haven't come across any meaningful startup which is doing automation in legal industries, for example, or oil and gas. There are very few, and they are just the startup. So what I'm saying, there's a lot of demand, there's a lot of scope, there's a lot of money. So where the money flows, the business flow with them. So a couple of years back, crypto was a hype.
So high, yeah.
It's still a hype, but that time, 5 years back, 7 years back, everyone was putting money, venture capitalism, and crypto. But there was a hype. AI has a tangible products. Tangible products. When I say
What do you mean by tangible?
tangible, you can taste it. For example, they are more concrete. For example, ChatGPT is a concrete thing. You are taking a real benefit from it. For example, they have the business case. The business case is they make revenue from their subscription. Okay? And you're getting the benefit. But in crypto world, there was a bubble, like Ethereum, for example. No real use cases and $100 billion. Think about Cardano, for example, not a single startup in their frame, $50 billion. So these are called bubbles, and you don't have any concrete things where the money is flying. And they will eventually burst. This is called, the dot-com burst and so on. But AI, as I said, they are not bubble. They have tangible products. So their demand is more, their, as I am saying, scope is more, they are tangible products, and it will keep growing, money will keep flowing. So that's why a lot of automation companies are coming here. So as I said, AI, they have two main branches. One is machine learning, second is deep learning. So machine learning is a child of AI, and deep learning is a sub-child of AI. So think about this as a granddaughter of AI.
Okay, what the deep learning is granddaughter of AI?
AI, yeah. And I said daughters because they are more intelligent and they are clever, per se. So what happens in deep learning? They are inspired by brain. Many people, they might disagree. They might say no, but I would say they are inspired by brain. For example, if I'm picking some product here, if I'm saying I'm lifting this, okay, so I'm not doing anything. My brain is sending a signal to this whole set of neurons and the nerve system to pick this up, and then I picked it. So what is happening? You have a nerve system which is getting some input, and my neurons, they are sending the signal. Output is I did something. So three things. One is input, second is neuron, third is output. And if you can automate this thing in the AI, for example, where you have one tiny cell where I can give some input and they perform any task. It can be as simple as 0, 1.
Yeah.
In this case, it is very heavy. Think about this lifting as a 1, not lifting as a 0. I can simulate this behavior. And the deep learning, they do this by having a lot of neurons. And as I said before, in human brain, there are like 86 billion neurons. And there are a lot. And in machines, if you can have like millions or millions of neurons which collaborate with each other to do something, they would become a very powerful system. This is about
More than human beings, you think so?
As I said, ChatGPT, they are coming. ChatGPT, they have more than human.
Can disrupt the human.
Yeah, of course. That's what they get. They say about super intelligence. That of course, once you have something which is by architecture having more things than human, it's quite possible that they would be able to, in some contexts, not all the contexts, they might be more intelligent than human, like in doing the things more intelligent than human, because their architecture, like I said, if you have 86 billion neurons, of course our neurons, they are much sharper than the machines. But the machines, if they can simulate the same behavior by having more neurons, they can become more powerful than us.
So, if today this world takes place to destroy all the AI, will we destroy the AI completely?
I mean, it's a tough question. Of course, once the knowledge is there, you can't destroy it. Because think about the source code.
Why can't human beings invented the AI? Why
They,
can't
they,
we destroy it?
they invented it, of course.
Yeah.
But now this has been distributed. So what I'm saying, assume, so coming back to the ChatGPT, I can give you the example. It has a very good use cases, but there are very bad use cases as well. As you can generate some things which are not good for the society, for example. And if I have the source code of ChatGPT, for example, and I distribute freely, many bad actors will have access. So if I destroy my source code, eventually, but the code has been spread already. So think about this of fire. So you have a fire, and you're saying, okay, no, it's not good. I blow it up, but the fire has spread. It's not a good analogy, but I'm saying if the source code is there, it has been distributed. It's not easy to think about the positive side. We are not going to say AI is bad or they are going to destroy humans. They are here to complement us.
We have to just use it like a concept, or what? How can we use it like? What do you think? How can we use it as a?
I mean, it's about the welfare of the society. So think about the medical problem. Nowadays, machines or AI can detect many of the cases in healthcare which are more precise than doctors. Many examples, not just one. Radiology, they can detect with high accuracy, might be 99%, and doctors, they will struggle with 90%. Because why this is the case? Think about an image. If there is some bad thing happening in the image, human eye cannot see that because we have some limitations. But machine can somehow, they can, they can do a lot of things. They can see the patterns which human eye cannot. So that's why they are more powerful. So think about if machines or AI, they can tell you that this person is going to have that disease or cancer in future. And they are going to tell you much earlier than doctors. They are helping us. So think about the positive side and the socio-economic benefits they can give to us. So I see a very bright future for AI which can help us.
What are deepfakes?
Deepfakes.
Yeah, what are deepfakes?
So deepfakes is a technology, I would say application of deep learning. So now I'm clearing the things. First you have the data, you have the information, then you have AI, then you have machine learning, then you have deep learning. So deepfake is sort of the application of deep learning. And in deepfake, what happens? There's a term which is called generative AI.
Yeah,
Must have generative AI. So generative AI is also sort of application or area of deep learning where, think about ChatGPT again. This is a generative AI. You train it to generate something. Like if this is a text, they can generate very beautiful text. If this is a code, they can generate beautiful code. If you give a lot of images, they will be able to generate images. But there's a darker side as well. If you are able to generate images, you can do whatever you want. You can swap these faces, you can harass the women. There's a lot of cases, not just around the world, a lot in deepfake where they have been harassed. There's no rules for that. So yeah, deepfake, as I said, is a technology where you can somehow generate the images or the video which don't exist. You can generate it from the data. You can give a prompt. I need, let's suppose, a student age 19 with blonde hair, for example, or black hairs with these things, and they can generate it. Okay? And you might be able to swap it with something. It's a very dangerous thing.
So it only used for destroying the people?
No, this is used for very good reasons. Think about, generative AI or the deepfake. So the technology behind it is called GAN. I'm just going deeper into the technology. GAN, Generative Adversarial Networks.
GAN.
GAN. The whole idea is there are two entities. One is called inspector, second is called bad actor. Okay? And the bad actor tried to send some fake money to the inspector. And the inspector job is to detect the money is fake or not. And they give a feedback to the bad actor saying the money is fake. Their job is to generate the fake money in a way that the inspector cannot detect. So sometimes they will send the real money as well. They will keep sending it, inspector will keep sending the feedback. If you train this recursively many times, eventually there will be a time when they would be so close that the inspector might not be able to understand this is real money or fake money. So now think about this. Once you have this pre-trained model, of course, as for entertainment, you can generate videos. Think about the whole film industry can be automated.
Yeah.
Think about the brighter side. You can have a film in days, not in years. The images, but in theory, you can generate some images of, let's suppose, in healthcare for the disease, which is very rare. You want to have more samples, you can generate from there. You have some healthcare problem where you don't have much data, but you know about it. You want to generate something, you can generate using this algorithm. So there, of course, there are real use cases. It's not about, it's there to, of course, harass people. Look, this is a misuse, and laws should be there. But on the brighter side, we have much more examples which can be helpful.
As an AI expert, like, what do you more listen about the deep sea?
Deep
sea. You know the deep sea?
Deep sea.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What is that about?
What is?
What is that about? Like, it's like same like a ChatGPT?
I haven't used much, but I can give you my feelings, how I
And
found
also
it.
black box AI.
Yeah, of
Yeah.
course. So, I mean, one thing is good. The DeepSeek, they are open source, okay, which is very good thing. That if you know the source code, most likely you will have more trust. You're not, the ChatGPT is a black box. Of course, I have used a black box. We are sending the input, they give the output, but we don't know what is happening with our data or who's controlling it. And recently, I read from OpenAI, they are saying we can use your data for legal purposes. It's just yesterday's news, yesterday's. So they said people are putting their sensitive data on ChatGPT without knowing that it can be used against them. It can be used to sue them.
They can use your data,
Yes.
what you are sending to them.
Yeah. They said they legal entities, they can claim this data. They can claim access. If this is happening,
Then it's done.
I mean, the privacy-based privacy and all those issues. And in DeepSeek, at least, you have the model yourself. You can host in your computer. You're not worried about these things. Where is my data going? It's in your computer. So one thing, trust. DeepSeek has much more trust than any other commercial softwares like Rogue or Copilot or Google Gemini or ChatGPT. So the first thing, trust. Second, I generated some code using DeepSeek. It was not very good. It was not very good as compared to ChatGPT or some other. But the major thing, as I said, they have two major advantages: trust, scalability. Because they were able to train the model using a small amount of money and resources and GPUs as compared to billions of dollars here. I'm saying billions of dollars. And they trade it in the millions. So scalability, cheapness, and trust, which can be there in the future.
Transformer model, and how does the concept of attention make it effective in language tasks?
Yeah, we briefly discussed about attention. So I would be simply saying what is transformer. So think about transformer. We know about deep learning now. Deep learning are neural networks, which are connection of neurons. So there are many architectures how neurons would be connected with each other. They can be feed forward. For example, each neuron send output to the next one, they send to the next one, and so on. This is called feed forward. They can back propagation as well, that you send the signal and then you come back, learn, and keep doing it. So one architecture is called transformer. So which is there to learn from the sequences and so on. And the word attention was used in transformers. The whole thing I told you about the window period,
Yeah.
you sit in the, so this is in the transformer. This is how transformers work. That why they are powerful? Because the whole new AI, so-called AI, of course this is AI, but people know AI just from ChatGPT. They came from transformers.
So why everyone thinking that AI is nothing but ChatGPT?
Yeah, many people assume that. Okay,
Yeah,
they just came to know about AI about ChatGPT or ChatGPT, and ChatGPT as frankly it's a good invention, but it's not everything. I mean, think about the limitation now. If you ask me what are the limitations, for example, of ChatGPT, think about the limitation. They are pre-trained model, which are predicting the probability of next thing in text, next word, in coding, next line of code, and so on. So they are not very smart. They are restricted. Their training is restricted to just predictions for left and right to be on safe side, simple side. So they are not very intelligent. They cannot automate many of the modern human tasks. The physical world is more complex. It's not about just predicting these two things. It's very complex. It requires context. It requires your rationals and thinking, decision making. So you cannot simply make a whole case based on just this assumption. So this is their major limitation.
What's the difference between training on text and multimodal data?
Yeah, I mean, now think about stock market.
Yeah.
It's a complex problem. And people make billions of dollars from stock market. Think about hedge fund. They are very rich. If you can get a job in hedge fund, that's it. You just work there 5 years and retire. They pay you hundreds or thousands of dollars. And what is the job of hedge funds? They invest in stock market. How they make investment? They are more smarter. They make data-driven investment. So they have the historical data of all the stocks. Now take the example of Tesla. They have the historical data of Tesla, how this is performing. And you can build an AI model saying how the price is going. So it can predict. This is called one data, just historical. But this is not enough because we know that based on just historical data, you cannot predict anything. It's more complex. It depends on the global economy, uh, global perception, sentiment, social media data, business data, a lot of things, world dynamics. If there's a war in Iran and Israel, the whole thing will collapse. So if you have more data, so assume I make a model which is taking the historical data, which is taking the social media sentiments, what people are talking about.
That's a trolling one. Yeah.
And what they are talking about, what the business people are talking about as well. What are the world conditions? Is it stable or there could be some war or some flood, natural disaster? How the macro economy is going, very, very important. If there's an inflation or their inflation index is okay. All these things, once you blend it into AI, it becomes multimodal, where you have a lot of data. It can be text, it can be images, it can be, for example, numeric data. And that model is more powerful because now you can blend it, you can make much more comprehensive predictions. And then you can invest. And that's what hedge funds are doing. They have the information, of course, insider information as well. But they make their decisions based on a lot of factors, not just one factor.
How do symbolic AI and neural network based AI differ?
I mean, it's a good question. Symbolic AI was used in classical AI, where you want to build some agents, and they were using
When you
it.
say is classic, like
Classic AI is the conventional models, like you want to see is a cat or a dog, okay, from the picture. Think about the child, how they teach. Their mom or their dad, they show them, okay, this is a dog, this is a dog, and then eventually learn this is a dog. I know my son is 2 years old, and it's a video of a dog where they say bingo, bingo, and every time he sees a dog, he says bingo. He's not saying a dog, he's
you
saying
taught him
bingo.
that bingo.
Because he learned from the training that this is bingo.
Yeah.
So once you have these kind of things, I would say they are the classical things, classical AI. And ChatGPT and so on, they are advanced. So they are transformer based and so on. So symbolic AI is more like a conventional thing. I don't see much linkage between them. Neural networks, they have become more powerful. And neural networks, they can work with a lot of data. So the beauty is if you can feed them big data, their performance will improve. A classical AI or machine learning model, if you have a lot of data, their performance will degrade, or it will not go as, it might become stable after a certain time. But with the deep learning, if you feed a lot of data, their performance or accuracy keep improving. They learn a lot. So what I'm saying, neural network, they are more powerful. And I see future in neural network and in agentic field, not with the conventional systems like symbolic AI and so on. To me, they are old-fashioned. But the world is moving towards different direction where they are having more agentic things that how we can take ChatGPT and other large language model and blend them into some context, make an agent which can answer you something. So this is where the world is moving.
So many people confused about like supervised and unsupervised and reinforcement learning.
Yeah.
What that all are different from like?
Yeah, I mean this is one of the fundamental questions. I'm glad you asked this. This is the question everyone should know. So machine learning is a child of AI, as I said. Now in machine learning you have three branches, sub branches. One is supervised learning, second is uh, unsupervised, third is reinforcement. Now think about supervised learning. The example I gave you about the child. How child learn? We teach them by showing them the things. Like this is a dog, this is a cat. Might be this can be image, this can be a video. So this is also supervised learning, where you are learning with some mentor. You have the labeled data. If we show a picture of dog and different picture of cat to a child like 50 times, they will eventually say, okay, if I show them a new picture, what is that? They will say dog and cat. They will remember that. Yeah. The same with the machine. If you show them a picture of some, let's suppose dogs, 100 pictures, cats, 100 pictures. And then you simply have another image where the cat has a variation in the image. They will recognize that. So this is the supervised learning, where you teach the machines by showing them the label data, and they can generalize it, they can learn it. Okay, so very, very famous thing. All the examples we were discussing, like the customer will do fraud with the bank or not, this is supervised learning. Dog and cat, fraud, loan, no loan, patient has a disease, they don't have a disease, all these things, they are supervised. So in unsupervised learning, we don't have any labels. The data is there, but there is no label. Think about what data can be categorized as unsupervised. If we ask this question, I usually ask this question to my students, and they struggle with that. Okay, what kind of data? And then I say, you use this data, and you are still using it. Think about social media data. Twitter is unsupervised learning. All the data is unsupervised. We don't know the labels. People are tweeting this. There is no label, but it can be used with a lot of purposes. People's sentiment, they can be used to detect the global trends, to predict the stock market, to crypto market, whatever. The recent war between Israel and Iran, yeah, there was a lot of polls where they were like 70% they were with Iran and 30% with Israel. So all these polls, they are coming from social media data. I mean, this is a very meaningful information. This is the unsupervised learning. The last thing is reinforcement learning. And reinforcement learning is where you learn from hit and trial. Again, I would give the example of, assume you have a dog, yeah, and you want to teach them, fetch that ball and bring it to me. The dog would go there, and if they bring the ball, you give them a cookie saying, okay, well done, this is your treat. If they're not bringing it, you punish them saying, go and bring it.
Just learn to learning.
If you do it multiple times, the dog will learn eventually. They will say, okay, every time I bring a ball, I get a treat. Yeah. It's very simple. If I don't bring, he punish me. So why not bring the ball and get the treat? So the same thing can be applied to the computers to learn. Think about a robot. If they are learning to go somewhere. If I'm a robot and I assign some weight saying, if you go forward, I will give you a cookie or a treat. If you go this side, or back side, you will get a punishment. And they will try this. They will get a punishment. Oh, wow, I have a treat. So they will keep going this way. And this is, when you say treat in terms of computer, you are simply adding the weights, like giving positive weights and negative weights. So this is our reinforcement learning. Think about self-autonomous cars and the robotics. Or you ever wondered how computers were able to beat the chess champion, for example? Or in AlphaGo, they were able to beat the champion. All this is due to reinforcement learning. There was no labeling. They played the game, they learned the rule themselves, and then they were able to beat it. So it's a very powerful feat, very, very powerful.
What's the role of RLHF and in modern AI?
What is RLHF?
It's a reinforcement learning from human feedback.
Yeah, I mean, this is a very, very advanced topic. So I'm glad you are bringing something which is right happening in the world right now. So think about Amazon. If a customer go to their website and assume they are not registered with them, a random customer, They have a couple of seconds to engage that customer. You agree with that? Couple of seconds. Else the customer will go and they will go to some other site. So they will immediately the customer come, they will recommend them something. Might be anything random to see what happens. If the customer like it, so they don't need to click on that. If they are spending some time, this is considered as a positive feedback. Okay? Your time is very important. Are you scrolling something? Are you scrolled and you stopped somewhere? They are noting everything. This is the positive feedback. You scrolled, you stopped somewhere, that means you are interested in that item. This is the feedback. Went back to the system updated their parameter, they recommended the similar kind of items. Okay? Now, if the customer is spending more time, we'll trap the customer, of course, is there. If not, leave everything, recommend something which is totally different from this category. So this is called reinforcement learning with some feedback that you start with nothing, okay? And based on the user's feedback, it can be implicit, as I said, or explicit, like you click somewhere. Based on your feedback, you are being recommended something. So it's a big branch, and in e-commerce, the big companies like Amazon, they are investing heavily in reinforcement learning. Their whole recommendation algorithm is going towards reinforcement learning. So I was reading Netflix, they make like 60% profit from recommendations. 60%. And think about TikTok, how much profit they make from recommendations. What are your guess?
I don't know.
Any idea? 80%, 70%?
Like, it's half of them, 50, 60%,
It's more than that.
90%.
More than that.
Oh my god. It's more than nearly 100%.
Nearly 99%. Of the profit is coming from recommendation. When I say recommendation, their whole business model is to keep user busy. And in a couple of seconds, you can easily get the human psyche. It's a reinforcement learning. You scroll a video, pick it. Oh, nice shot, thoughtful, more awesome. You know, the next video, again, the same, pick it. So they trap you. They know this guy is interested in sports, for example. So their business model is working. They want to keep you engaged. There, of course, they will show you some ads and so on. But their model is working. And they trap. And I usually say to my students and many people that don't use these short videos because they're not good for you, because a powerful algorithm, AI algorithm is there to keep you engaged. And they know your psyche. And you keep scrolling hours and hours and you will not know because they are so powerful, they can catch your psyche. So yeah, this is just come up to my mind, that's why. Why not?
Can AI develop its own language on encoding system?
I think they can, so why not? So they can pretty much do any task they are trained to do. So yeah, they can. I mean,
How this AI really developed in a so majestic way that can really deal everything in this world.
you just need to train it. As I said, they come from many things. Just remember this thing. They come from data. They can learn from a lot of data, like ChatGPT. They can learn from nothing, like reports. They are not learning from anything. They don't have any data. They just have rules. Go here, they learn from there. And they can learn from experience as well. So they can learn from literally no data. Like the chess champion, we didn't feed them everything. They simply got the rules of the game by playing and they become so powerful, they were thinking like 10 moves ahead. Human mind cannot think more than few moves what I will do. In 5 moves, you will forget what step I should be taking. If you are taking 10 moves and then making the next move based on this, predicting the 10 moves and then making one move, human cannot. So what I'm saying, they are pretty much very powerful, especially with deep learning, where you have a lot of neurons which can do the job for you. If you train them to do something, they would be better than human. Of course, the job would they meant to be doing should be more quantitative, that you can measure it somehow. You can measure it. For example, if you're saying write an essay, suppose they can write an essay, you can measure it. Don't expect them to be more human things which we cannot describe, like emotions and so on. They would be really bad at that. So yeah.
So what's one precious advice you would like to give to the people who wants to enter into the AI field today? What's one of the precious like? What's one thing?
So the precious advice I would be giving to AI students is learn. The data is there. The knowledge is readily available. Nowadays, think about Coursera, free website to learn. There are so many like Stanford and YouTube full of videos. So the things are there. Just learn very quickly. Um, of course, universities and colleges, they will help you, but there's a shortcut. Find that shortcut as well. I'm not saying don't come to the universities. We are ready to transform you in a longer way, and this is how things would be. But if you don't have a time, for example, you are in a different field, you want to learn AI, go to the short courses and learn them very quickly. Second thing I tell to my students is to learn how to give prompt to large language model. Because if you don't know how to give a prompt to large language model, you will not do anything. There's no purpose of using paid version of ChatGPT if you don't know how to give the prompt. So prompt engineering is very, very important. So always remember that. The third, try to automate your task as much as possible. So like the conventional tasks. So for example, for me, I have many projects which are automating my tasks. I don't need to do anything. I keep training them. After 6 months, they are so powerful. I ask them anything related to any my project and they give me the answer. So keep your tools polished and keep training them.
What's one role in AI plays a crucial role all over the AI or in a company, whatever?
So that would be more about AI, I would say, architect or manager. Think about, I'm not saying coder because coding would be automated very soon. Uh, More like the person who is putting everything together. I don't know the job title because it might not exist, but that would be the person who would be taking the input from various, like I suppose, developers or agents, which are the machines which are doing something, putting them together and building something. So think about this as a manager or architecture. I don't know. So this job would exist and this would stay and this would be the most crucial job in future. It's not about the AI developers. It's not about AI programmers. It's about the person who will take everything, merge them, give the output.
Thank you so much for putting up on this show, and it really mean a lot. A lot of people know about a lot of things about AI, and I hope so they all learn from this episode. And thank you for coming to my podcast. Have a nice day.
Oh, thank you very much. I mean, it was very helpful. Thank you very much, and looking forward for future collaborations.
Thank you so much.